Hi, everybody. It's Frank McNally from Public Spend Forum. We got some really great feedback on one of our last videos, how to write better emails, so we decided we'd make another one, this time on how to write better memos. Now, why do we write memos in the first place? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, we might just want to inform people about a problem or situation or a decision that we've made or a recommendation that we'd like to make. We can use memos to assign people responsibility or action for a certain process. We can also use memos to task people. Memos are great for recording decisions that have already been made or findings that we discovered or a plan for going forward. A lot of time in the contracting community, we'll use memorandums to the file when we're updating a contract or modifying it or changing direction. It's a really nice record or recorded history for people that might come behind us. So let's take a quick look at a specific type of memorandum that I'm sure a lot of you have written or will be writing soon, and that's the market research memorandum. Now we're going to be using a template in this particular video, and you can download it right now if you join Public Spend Forum's open global community, and that's a free registration at community.publicspendforum.net. So feel free to pause this video, go download the template, and come back and keep watching so you can follow along. All right, so lesson one. Get to the point. We want our memos to be short and sweet, right? We want to channel our inner Cicero just like we did in the emails. And I was actually corrected by a good friend of mine, our friend Cicero here. While he did speak Latin and while that is a dead language, we do know how it sounds. And I don't actually know how to speak it, so you're not going to hear it here. But he did say, if I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter, in this case, a shorter memorandum. Look, strive for 2 pages or less. That's the bottom line here. You can go a little longer if you need to, but in my opinion, the best memos, 2 pages or less. And how do you do that? Well, one way to do that is to put the bottom line up front. This is just helpful for any busy person who's going to be reading a lot of these things. So you can see in this particular excerpt from our template, we've got a leading paragraph called approval required. That's the bottom line. I need approval as a result of this email. Another way to keep them short is to provide just enough context, right? A lot of times our tendency is to start from the beginning of time and work up from there, but that's not actually what we want to do. 3 key points in this sort of background is why are we writing the memo, what is it for, and why is it important, okay? So lesson 3, describe the requirement in general terms, right? This is a laptop, not a personal computing machine, not a ThinkPad Lenovo T450S or whatever the model and make is, just a general description of the requirements. And one reason is because we oftentimes have all the salient characteristics of their product requirements contained in another document. And so one tip is to reference that document. Don't reinvent the wheel, just include it as an attachment. A really good reason and compelling reason to do that is because those salient characteristics, those requirements can be changed. You don't want to have to come back and modify a memorandum. You can just update the attachment. Now, there sometimes will be special circumstances or exceptions in a particular product requirement or customer request. You'll want to note those in the memo as well, just so you'll know if there's any deviations from the norm. Always include the cost or price estimate in a market research document. You don't want people having to break out their calculator when they're reading your memo just to learn about the total cost or whatever. So include that cost or price estimate. Lesson 4, document your findings. This picture here is Gretel from Hansel and Gretel leaving the breadcrumbs, which is always kind of a funny analogy to me because if you recall, the breadcrumbs actually got eaten by birds, so they couldn't find their way back out of the woods. So leaving the breadcrumb trail is actually really, really bad advice, but nevertheless, I did when I was writing this template a good bit of research to put it together, so I kind of document that in the memo as you'll see in the template. The first thing I did was look at the FAR. Then I looked at the product and service code manual to see what product service code corresponded to laptops. Then I looked at GSA's IT Schedule 70 because I know that's where a lot of IT hardware is purchased. After that, I looked at one of Cicero and Public Spend Forum's purchasing insights, which are also available on our community.publicspendforum.net portal, and you can download those for free. But that was a really nice overview of the personal computing industry and gave me a lot of background. Finally, I knew there was a memo out there somewhere about category management and direction to agencies buying laptop computers. So I finally ultimately found that memo as well and included that in my recommendations. Our final lesson here, put a bow on it. You've spent a lot of time and effort to make a nice memo, make a nice, concise, short memo. wrap it up with a really nice and tight conclusion. Make it short and sweet. And be direct. We talked in the email video about how direct language isn't rude, it's actually professionally courteous. And that's the same case with the memo here. You don't want to leave any questions as to your intent for writing the memo. Be direct with any action that's required. So that's it. To summarize, if we want to write better memos, we better think like Cicero, get to the point, provide just enough context, describe our requirement in general terms, document our findings, and put a bow on it. All right, so go get that template. It's at community.publicspendforum.net. You can download it and join for free. And stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to be producing a lot more of these videos over the foreseeable future, and we want to help you guys increase your impact in the shortest amount of time possible. Thanks for watching. See you next time.